scratch that. Probably not so quick video. We'll be breaking down the entire NFL playoffs from the wild card games to the Super Bowl, giving my predictions and who I think is going to win. Let's just get started. Not going to waste any time. Starting with the wild card round. In the AFC, the 6th seed Baltimore Ravens versus the 3rd seed Pittsburgh Steelers. Just another chapter in this historic rivalry. It started keys to victory for the Ravens. Think week 2, not week 9. In week 2, they beat Pittsburgh 26-6, but in week 9 they lost to Pittsburgh 42-23. In the week 2 win, Flacco went 21 for 29 for 166 yards and 2 touchdowns. And feed the ball to Justin Forsett. He's been arguably one of the most underrated running backs of the year. He's got 1,266 yards and 8 touchdowns. And they got to move the ball around. They can't just give it to Forsett. They got to throw it deep. They have a lot of offensive weapons like Torrey Smith and Steve Smith to also use. Going to be interesting to see. Keys to victory for the Steelers. Don't allow the pass rush. Baltimore has a lot of really good players they can use in the pass rush. Terrell Suggs, Pernell McPhee, Elvis Dumerville, and CJ Mosley, just to name a few. Throw to Antonio Brown. He's been a really good receiver this year. 129 receptions, 1,698 yards, and 13 touchdowns. And there's been a little doubt about Le'Veon Bell playing. If the Steelers want to win, he has to play. He has 2,215 total yards, 11 total TG touchdowns, and their backup is their, I believe, 3rd round draft pick out of Kent State, Dry Archer, who only has 10 carries this season. Not very good. I say Pittsburgh wins it 28-24. The 5-4 matchup in the AFC, Cincinnati Bengals versus Indianapolis Colts. Bengals need to run the ball. They have a very good two-headed running back tandem with Giovanni Bernard and Jeremy Hill. You've seen they can both do very good. When Bernard was hurt and Jeremy Hill stepped up, and he's been really tearing it up since then. They got to keep the secondary play up. They have really good depth. For example, if Leon Hall, who's their number 1 guy, needs to step out, they can put in young Drake Kirkpatrick, who's been really stepping up this year over being, some would label a bust, being a first-round pick. And despite their really good running back core, they need to know when to throw it. They have a lot of weapons. They got Mohamed Sanu, AJ Green. They can throw it to Bernard or Hill. So you got to know when to pass it. Keys to Colts victory. You gotta let Andrew Luck control the game. He has proved that even with his youth, he's a very good and very smart quarterback. 40 total touchdowns this year. He's been tearing it up. And we saw in the wild card game last year against the Chiefs, he really took control of that game. Played amazing and helped Indy win. Throw the ball, going back to Andrew Luck, he is really the center of the Colts defense. And with their receiving core like Kobe Fleener, Reggie Wayne, T.Y. Hilton, they have a lot of weapons to use. And the defense needs to step up. There hasn't really been a lot of talk in the Colts defense. You saw in Week 16 where they got absolutely destroyed by the Dallas Cowboys. They just got to stop it. They need to step it up. I'm going with the upset. The Bengals win 27-14. Detroit Lions versus the Dallas Cowboys in the NFC. Detroit 6, Dallas 3. Detroit needs to, I don't know how to explain it, just play well on both sides on defense. They got to use their front 7 with Sue, who's playing now, and Ziggy Ansah. They need to disrupt Romo and stop DeMarco Murray, because that Dallas Cowboys offensive line is just incredible. And on offense, basically, let Stafford throw the ball around. They have a lot of weapons. Drake Bell, Reggie Bush, Eric Ebron, Golden Tate, Calvin Johnson, but mostly Calvin Johnson. They just gotta give it to him because he's one of those players that when he's hot, he can win a game for you. And the Cowboys need to control the line, give Romo time, which they can do with their dominating offensive line. They got to mix it up because they can give it to Murray and then they can throw it to Dez, give it to Murray. They can really do whatever. They have a really two-dimensional offense, which is kind of tough to have in the NFL, and just make Stafford struggle. Even with all his talents, he's still a very struggling quarterback. He kind of ranks in the middle of quarterbacks right now. I predict Cowboys winning 21-10. And now, kind of the little brother of the wild card games, the number 4 Carolina Panthers versus the number 5 Arizona Cardinals. And I'll be honest, if I was not an Arizona Cardinals fan, I wouldn't care about this game one bit. But the Cardinals, to win, they need to use their receiver talent. They have a lot of depth. They got John Carlson, Larry Fitzgerald, John Brown, Ted Ginn, Michael Floyd. Just name a few. But the only thing is their quarterback situation. From what I've heard, they're still going to go with Ryan Lindley, even though I think if he struggles like he did in the second half of the 49ers game, take him out, put the rookie Logan Thomas, and see what he can do. And control Cam Newton. If you saw in the last game, they don't really do a good thing of controlling those two-dimensional quarterbacks who can throw down the field, but then they can run for 20 yards. Cam Newton's one of those guys. Panthers key, exploit the Cardinals secondary. They've been kind of iffy at times, mostly by Antonio Cromartie. Patrick Peterson, he seems to get burnt a little more. And stay hot. They're on a 4-game winning streak right now. They can keep it going. And watch the tape from the Cardinals last week, because I think Colin Kaepernick and Cam Newton play similar, and Cardinals could barely stop Colin Kaepernick, so maybe they won't be able to stop Cam Newton. Final, Panthers 13, Cardinals 10. I hate to do it. Going to the divisional round, trying to speed it up now. New England Patriots versus Cincinnati Bengals. Patriots need to keep passing. That's really been the focal point of their offense. But they also need to run it. They only have 13 rushing touchdowns this year. And on defense, disrupt Andy Dalton. And for the Bengals, don't allow the pass. That's been one thing that the Patriots do very well, like I said earlier. So maybe have the corners play man, have some linebackers play zone, because there's no fear of Tom Brady scrambling. He just doesn't. But final, Patriots win 28-13. Denver Broncos versus Pittsburgh Steelers. Last time we saw them play in the playoffs was a few years back. Oh, I remember that game. I love my man Tebow. That was an amazing game. I feel like this game's going to be kind of similar. It's going to be very close. Broncos need to use all that receiving talent they have, Wes Walker, Demaryius Thomas, Julius Thomas, to their advantage. And they also need to put pressure on Big Ben. Looking at you, Von Miller. Great player. Broncos win 27-21. Now the NFC, Seahawks versus Panthers. You got the Legion of Boom. They're just incredible. Another way to describe it, best secondary in the league, hands down. Marshawn Lynch, he's a beast. He's going to exploit that kind of weak Carolina Panthers defense. I think Luke Kuechly is going to be on him the whole game. And it's going to be strength versus strength. It's going to be amazing to watch. And one challenge for the Seahawks is to control Cam Newton. As I said earlier, he's one of those quarterbacks where he can throw it 50 yards down the field and then he can run for 20. But I think the Seahawks win this very easily, 35-7. Another great game, the number 2 Green Bay Packers versus the number 3 Dallas Cowboys. And Rodgers and company can overpower that Dallas secondary. I think it's actually going to be very easy for them, because Cowboys have always had a weak secondary over the past couple of years. It's one of their faults in a very good team. And then one thing I want to talk about is the Cowboys are undefeated on the road, but that is not going to matter. Packers win 24-21. All right, in the championships, Patriots versus Broncos, another chapter in the Brady versus Manning thing. Receivers versus secondary battle on both sides. It's going to be very good. And I think Manning ultimately suffers in the cold. He's not going to be able to get to Wes Walker and Julius and Demaryius Thomas. And the Patriots win 28-21. Seahawks versus Packers. Legion of Boom versus the Packers offense. This is the thing that's going to be amazing. I think the speed that they have with Jordy Nelson and Randall Cobb is not going to be able to be stopped. And they're just going to overpower the Legion of Boom. The only Seahawks way they can win is if Marshawn Lynch can establish. He can just run all over them because, let's be honest, Packers don't have the best offense or the strongest offense. And also Eddie Lacy for the Packers. If Legion of Boom starts to overpower that receiving core, give it to Lacy a couple times, mix it up, let him disrupt the defense. And I say the Packers win this 35-28. And in the Super Bowl, once again the Packers are going to have to come back against their receiving core versus a very good secondary with Devin McCourty and Darrelle Revis. That's going to be one thing to focus on. Eddie Lacy versus the Patriots front seven. Patriots, of course, have very good players. Vince Wilfork's probably one of the biggest ones, figurative and literally. And then Brady versus Rodgers, two of the best quarterbacks right now. And in my prediction, the Super Bowl champions, once again, New England Patriots win this game 31-20, just because that defense is going to be able to stop the Packers offense all game. Alright, so thank you all for watching. Keep tuning back for more videos. Remember, rate, comment, subscribe if you liked it. And have a wonderful day. Bye now.